The new home for me is like a new beginning, closer to the college, closer to the girls' church. I see a lot of future there, which is really great.
Well, I got to run to my next appointment.
Okay.
I want to say thank you guys for having me over. I think these are much more important conversations to have in person, and thanks for having me. And
Thank you.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity.
Cool.
When Kody and Robyn Brown proudly showed off their latest purchase, a sprawling Arizona estate they called their dream home, fans thought the controversial couple was finally turning a new leaf after years of emotional turmoil and public scrutiny. But what seemed like a fairy tale mansion has turned into a health and safety nightmare. Behind the polished stone walls and high-end finishes, disturbing discoveries have come to light. Mold, toxins, and structural hazards that could endanger the entire Brown family. Now, sources close to Sister Wives claim the situation is far worse than anyone imagined, and fans are demanding answers about how far Kody and Robyn were willing to go to preserve their image while putting their children in harm's way. Kody and Robyn Brown's latest chapter in the ever-turbulent Sister Wives saga has taken a dark and unsettling turn. The couple, once desperate to prove that their union was built on faith, family, and the dream of plural harmony, now find themselves at the center of a shocking controversy that could forever stain their carefully crafted image. Their so-called dream home, a property they believed would symbolize a new beginning, has reportedly become a toxic nightmare. What was meant to be a fresh start for their blended family is now being described by insiders as a health hazard, one filled with mold contamination, poor ventilation, and dangerous toxins that have allegedly left the children coughing, sneezing, and even suffering from unexplained fatigue. Neighbors say they watched Kody and Robyn move into the property last fall, beaming with pride as they shared stories of how long they'd been searching for a place that felt like home. The Coyote Pass project was crumbling, the other wives were gone, and for Kody, this was supposed to be his redemption arc. Robyn had dreamed aloud about a home that finally felt permanent after years of renting and constant relocation. But within months of moving in, a very different story began to unfold. According to a close source familiar with the family, everyone thought this house was their happily ever after, but soon they started noticing smells, leaks, and sicknesses that didn't make sense. Robyn tried to keep it quiet, but the situation was getting worse every day. The home, located in a remote part of Flagstaff, was reportedly built on a plot that had long been rumored by locals to have soil and water contamination from previous construction runoff. Former owners had allegedly experienced problems with mold and toxic residues in the insulation, but none of this was properly disclosed to the Browns before the sale. The couple, excited to finalize what they thought was a good deal, allegedly skipped a full environmental inspection. Instead, they relied on a basic real estate assessment, which reportedly failed to uncover the deeper structural and environmental dangers lurking beneath the home's glamorous surface. In the months following their move, reports began to surface about Robyn's children missing school and complaining about headaches, coughing, and allergies. At first, fans assumed it was seasonal illness, but when Robyn appeared on Sister Wives looking unusually stressed and pale, viewers began to wonder if something more serious was happening behind the scenes. An insider from the production crew revealed that filming inside the home became difficult due to persistent odors and visible patches of discoloration on the walls. The crew didn't feel comfortable staying inside for long. There were air quality issues, and the producers had to make decisions about safety. It wasn't what anyone expected when we started filming this season. Kody, ever defensive, reportedly brushed off concerns. Those close to him describe his reaction as dismissive and controlling. He told everyone the house was fine and that the problems were exaggerated. He didn't want to admit he might have made a bad purchase. He was determined to prove that this home symbolized his success, not his failure. Yet the irony is painful. The house that was meant to represent his stability and victory after losing 3 of his wives has now become the very thing that exposes his recklessness. Robyn, known for her emotional transparency, has allegedly broken down multiple times over the issue. She has reportedly expressed deep regret for moving so quickly on the purchase, blaming herself for not listening to her instincts. In private conversations overheard by production insiders, Robyn reportedly cried that she felt she had let her kids down. She feared the exposure to mold could have long-term health effects, especially on her youngest children. The once luxurious home, filled with beautiful furnishings and family photos, has turned into what one relative called a gilded cage filled with invisible poison. Fans have taken to social media in outrage. How could they risk their kids' health just for appearances? One fan commented on a popular Sister Wives discussion board. Others pointed out the hypocrisy in Kody and Robyn's constant talk about family values while seemingly ignoring serious safety concerns. They brag about being responsible parents, but they moved into a toxic house without proper inspection. It's unbelievable. The online community has exploded with theories, some claiming the couple knew about the issue and chose to stay silent for financial reasons, others speculating that Kody's pride prevented him from seeking help. Meanwhile, insiders claim that Christine and Janelle have privately expressed concern for the children's well-being. Christine, who now lives happily in Utah, is said to have reached out to her kids who still maintain contact with Robyn's children, urging them to seek medical attention. Christine's heart breaks for those kids, the source added. She's moved on, but she still cares deeply about everyone in that family. She's worried this could have long-lasting effects. Janelle, too, reportedly expressed frustration, saying that this was another example of Kody making impulsive choices without thinking of the consequences.
The emotional impact of the gesture was felt not just by fans, but also by Erin herself, who later took to Instagram to share her gratitude. Posting a photo of the music box on her dressing table, she wrote, "I'll never forget this day. Thank you, Tyler, for reminding me that kindness and love are what make our stories real. This means more to me than words can express." The post was immediately flooded with comments from fans and fellow Hallmarksaires, all expressing admiration and love. Tyler later spoke briefly about the surprise in an interview, explaining his motivation behind it. He said that Erin had been an inspiration not just to fans, but to everyone in the Hallmark family. "She's carried that show on her shoulders for years," he said. "She brings so much heart and authenticity to everything she does. I just wanted her to know how much she's appreciated." He went on to describe how he came up with the idea for the music box, saying it was inspired by Hope Valley itself, a place that symbolizes growth, resilience, and hope. The emotional power of that day didn't fade quickly. For weeks afterward, fans continued to talk about it online, calling it the most Hallmark thing Hallmark has ever done. Many said it reminded them why they loved the network in the first place. Others said it made them cry, not just because of what happened, but because of what it represented. In a world where celebrity moments often feel polished and staged, this one was pure, spontaneous, and deeply human. Even cast members who weren't on set that day reached out to Erin afterward. Pascal Hutton, who plays Rosemary Coulter on the show, said in an interview that when she saw the video, she cried immediately. That's Erin. She gives everything she has to this show, and seeing someone recognize that in such a beautiful way, it was just perfect. Kevin McGarry, who plays Nathan, also commented on social media saying, "Leave it to Tyler Hines to make us all cry on a Tuesday." Behind the emotion and tears, the moment carried a deeper meaning about what makes When Calls the Heart so special. The show has always been about the power of love, friendship, and faith in the goodness of people. And in that single act, Tyler embodied all of those values. He didn't just celebrate Erin's achievements, he reminded everyone of the heart that beats behind the camera, the one that keeps the spirit of Hope Valley alive. The gift itself became something of a symbol for the entire production. Erin later revealed that she keeps the music box in her trailer and winds it every morning before filming as a reminder of that day. She said, "It helps me center myself. It reminds me that this show is more than just a job. It's a family. It's a legacy of love." The story continued to spread across entertainment media, with several outlets praising Tyler's thoughtfulness and calling the event the Hallmark Surprise of the Year. Fans began speculating whether Hallmark might pair Aaron and Tyler together in a future film, given their undeniable chemistry and the overwhelming fan demand. It wouldn't be the first time that an off-screen friendship turned into an on-screen hit, and Hallmark executives have reportedly taken notice. But beyond the career implications, what stood out most was the emotion itself, raw, real, and relatable. In an industry where grand gestures often feel rehearsed, Tyler's act of kindness stood apart because it came from a place of genuine admiration and gratitude. It reminded everyone that sometimes the most powerful stories aren't written in scripts. They happen in the moments in between, when one person decides to show another how much they matter. As the cast of When Calls the Heart wrapped up the day's shooting, Erin was still glowing, her eyes bright from crying, but her spirit lighter than ever. The crew, still buzzing with emotion, gathered for a group photo with Tyler and Erin in the center, holding the music box between them. That photo, later shared by Hallmark, became iconic among fans, a visual representation of everything that makes Hallmark stories unforgettable. In the days that followed, Erin continued to receive messages from fans around the world thanking her for being such a positive force in their lives. Some shared how When Calls the Heart had helped them through difficult times, and how seeing Erin's genuine emotions reminded them that kindness still exists in the world. Others said that the moment between her and Tyler was proof that Hallmark magic isn't confined to the screen. It lives in the people who bring those stories to life. Weeks later, when asked in an interview about what the moment meant to her, Erin said quietly, "It reminded me that miracles don't have to be big. Sometimes they're just small moments of love that remind you you're seen and appreciated. Tyler gave me that, a little miracle in the middle of an ordinary day." And that's exactly what it was. A miracle. A moment that blended real life and the spirit of Hallmark into something unforgettable. Tyler Hines' heartfelt gesture didn't just bring Erin Krakow to her knees, it brought an entire fandom to tears, reigniting the warmth and love that define When Calls the Heart. It was a living reminder that in a world filled with uncertainty, kindness still has the power to heal, surprise, and move us beyond words. The world of When Calls the Heart has always been filled with tender emotions, stories of redemption, and the purest forms of love that warm the coldest hearts. But this time, it wasn't just the fictional town of Hope Valley that witnessed a miracle. It was real life. Fans of the beloved Hallmark series were stunned when an emotional and unforgettable moment unfolded behind the scenes. A heartfelt surprise orchestrated by none other than Tyler Hines for his dear friend and fellow Hallmark star, Erin Krakow. The gesture was so unexpected, so moving, that it reportedly brought Erin to her knees in tears, overwhelmed by the sincerity and depth of the moment. It was the kind of magic that transcends television, turning a simple act of kindness into something legendary within the Hallmark family. For over a decade, Erin Krakow has been the heart and soul of When Calls the Heart. As Elizabeth Thornton, she has guided fans through seasons of love, loss, and hope. Her steady presence has turned Hope Valley into a second home for millions of viewers who tune in each week to find comfort in her strength and grace. Tyler Hines, on the other hand, has become one of Hallmark's most adored leading men, known for his irresistible charm and emotionally grounded performances in movies like It Was Always You and Falling for You. Though the two have not shared the screen in When Calls the Heart, their friendship has blossomed off-screen through years of Hallmark events, promotions, and genuine mutual respect. What fans witnessed recently was proof that the connection between these two stars goes beyond scripts and cameras. It all began quietly one afternoon when the cast and crew of When Calls the Heart gathered on set to shoot a key emotional scene for the upcoming season. The mood was calm and focused. Erin, as always, was fully immersed in her role, delivering a powerful performance that left the crew in awe. She had just completed a take filled with raw emotion when the director called for a short break. What Erin didn't know was that her world was about to change in the next few minutes. Tyler Hynes had been working secretly with Hallmark producers for weeks, planning a surprise visit to honor Erin for her remarkable contributions to the network and her decade-long portrayal of Elizabeth. Tyler had insisted that everything be kept under wraps. He wanted the surprise to feel genuine, a moment straight out of the kind of stories Hallmark tells best. He arrived quietly on set that day, wearing his trademark denim jacket and his usual warm smile, holding something in his hand, a small, beautifully wrapped package tied with a golden ribbon. As Erin took a sip of water and chatted casually with the crew, the studio doors opened slowly. The sound of footsteps echoed through the set. When she turned around, her eyes widened in disbelief. There stood Tyler Hynes, a familiar figure she hadn't expected to see that day, looking at her with an expression of pure affection and pride. For a moment, Erin froze. The cast gasped, realizing what was happening. Someone whispered, "Is that Tyler Hynes?" And laughter rippled through the room. Erin's hands went to her mouth as tears immediately filled her eyes. Tyler walked toward her slowly, his voice calm, but filled with emotion as he said, "You didn't think I'd miss this, did you?" He handed her the package and took her hands in his. Erin couldn't speak. She was visibly shaking with emotion, tears spilling down her cheeks as Tyler continued, explaining that he had come to personally thank her for everything she had done, for the fans, for Hallmark, and for all the people she had inspired with her performance and kindness. The package contained a handcrafted music box designed to look like a miniature version of Hope Valley's schoolhouse, the place that symbolized so much of Elizabeth Thornton's journey. When Erin opened it, the soft notes of the When Calls the Heart theme played. Inside the lid, a small engraved message read, "For the heart that keeps Hope Valley beating." It was simple, poetic, and deeply meaningful. Erin dropped to her knees, overcome by the flood of emotion that followed. She covered her face with her hands, sobbing softly as the crew applauded around her. It was a moment of pure authenticity, something no script could have replicated. Even Tyler's usual calm demeanor broke for a moment as he knelt beside her, pulling her into a comforting embrace. The two stayed there for a long while, the kind of silence that says more than words ever could. Later, Erin said that she had never experienced such a heartfelt surprise in her career, and that it reminded her why she loved doing what she does. The behind-the-scenes crew, many of whom had worked with Erin since the show's beginning, were deeply moved. Some were seen wiping their eyes. One producer later said that it was one of the most emotional moments ever captured off-camera in When Calls the Heart's history. The entire set radiated warmth, gratitude, and admiration, not just for the beautiful gesture, but for the genuine bond that Hallmark stars share with one another. When news of the surprise broke, the When Calls the Heart fandom exploded with emotion. Fans flooded social media with heartfelt messages, calling the moment a real-life Hallmark miracle. On Twitter, one fan wrote, "Tyler Hynes just proved that he's as genuine in real life as the characters he plays. What he did for Erin brought me to tears." Others echoed the sentiment, saying that the moment captured everything that When Calls the Heart stands for: compassion, friendship, and the beauty of human connection. Hallmark quickly joined the celebration, releasing exclusive behind-the-scenes footage of the event on their official YouTube channel.